Welcome to Fantasy Prix, the Dragon Racing TTRPG. In this video, I'll give you a sneak peek into the dragons, riders, and backgrounds you can choose from during character creation. But first, in case you're not a member of my close inner circle, you probably don't know what Fantasy Prix is all about yet. As the title suggests, Fantasy Prix, the Dragon Racing TTRPG is a fun and fast-paced racing tabletop game where you get to create a dragon and rider team from a diverse selection of 13 dragons, riders, and backgrounds. Your team, along with your friends and rivals, will travel the vast kingdom of Prix, exploring and competing in a series of races to win the Dragon Cup at the end of the racing season. So if you're still here and I've piqued your interest, saddle up and hang on tight because we are starting off strong with the mighty Castle Dragon. Castle dragons were the very first species to be domesticated and ridden by Prix royalty. They are large and powerful racers that have the strength and will to race for many seasons. They are easy to train and form strong bonds with their riders. Castle dragons are covered in armor-like scales and most have horns that come in all shapes and sizes. Most interestingly, while most dragons have only one form of breath weapon, the castle dragon can have as many as 4, from fire to ice and lightning, and even the mightiest of roars. But who in the Great Kingdom is brave, strong, and stubborn enough to handle such a beast? Dwarves are stout and lively people who never shy away from a challenge. They race for excitement and celebration. Their direct and aggressive energy can sometimes be misinterpreted as pushy or rude, but it's all in good spirit. In fact, many dwarves become racers out of spite after someone told them they can't. It is known that there is nothing a dwarf can't do once they set their stubbornness to the task. But what might a dwarf have been before they took up the life of a dragon racer? A brewer, potioner, or mad scientist? Alchemists are known by many names. Alchemists are renowned for their ability to brew potent elixirs that have a profound effect on the user, for better or for worse. Alchemists have gained a reputation as both revered and feared figures in society. While some view them as miracle workers capable of curing any ailment or enhancing physical abilities, others see them as dangerous renegades who peddle deadly poisons and explosives. Outside of racing, many alchemists run their own shops selling potions and elixirs to the common folk. Others travel to distant lands in search of rare and exotic ingredients, eager to push the boundaries of their craft. They might even be pushed to explore the highest and coldest mountains of Prix. If they're lucky, they may encounter the massive and fluffy abominable Icewing. Most commonly found in the most frigid valleys or highest snow-capped mountains of Prix, the abominable Icewing is the largest species of racing dragon. But don't let their size fool you. These softies are often compared to puppy dogs, and they have the fur to match. Many riders will even shave and groom their abominable Icewing's fur similar to poodles, allowing them to thrive and race in any environment. And though they love it, it takes a calm, patient, and steady hand to groom such a monster. The perfect job for an elf. Elves' calm and collected nature allows them to remain focused even in the midst of the fast-paced chaos of a race. They can assess any situation quickly and make a split-second decision with ease. Despite their cool outward demeanor, elves can be fierce competitors and infamously sore losers due to their perfectionistic tendencies. Their dedication to perfection means that losing can be particularly difficult to accept. However, this drive always to be the best fuels their determination to improve and come back stronger for their next race. Few other racers match the dedication and drive of an elf, unless of course they were natural-born athletes. While dragon racing may be the most popular sport in the kingdom, there are still many athletes who choose to specialize in other areas. Some prefer the physicality of dragon wrestling. Others enjoy the finesse of kite-flying competitions. They have a natural advantage when it comes to dragon racing. No matter the sport, athletes know the importance of great training routines. Athletes tend to be quick thinkers, able to adapt to changing circumstances, which is essential in a fast-paced race where anything can happen. Often, the most popular racers were once athletes, bringing their fans along with them from one sport to the next. But what, you might ask, is the most popular species of dragon? Wyverns are considered to be one of the most common dragons of the Kingdom of Prix. They are brave and curious, making them popular racing dragons. They tend to be easy to train, motivated, and form strong bonds with their riders. Wyverns come in nearly every color and pattern imaginable. Unlike most other dragon species, wyverns only have 2 legs as opposed to the typical 4. When they stand upright, they're often compared to birds. Their wings end in a claw that they can use to crawl or even climb. Wyverns have a strange and unique body type and even stranger colors and patterns, but no strangeness can compare to that of a gnome. Most notably, the first thing anyone will notice about a gnome is their hat. Any gnome worth their name has a special hat that tells the world exactly who they are. Gnomes are often referred to as fair folk. Almost all arguments and political issues are solved by gnomes. They say that the Kingdom of Prix was built on the creativity, ingenuity, and problem-solving skills of gnomes. From the newest dragon saddle designs to recipes for alchemical potions, and even the dragonapult and the racing radio. Year after year, gnomes lead the Kingdom of Prix into the future with their creative ideas and technical know-how. On the other end of the technological spectrum, we have the farmers. Many dragon racers begin their career working the fields, tending to crops and livestock to ensure that everyone in the kingdom is well fed. After all, no one wants to face a hungry dragon. Racers who hail from the farming background are renowned for their tireless work ethic and unwavering determination. Many started racing as a hobby, waking up hours before sunrise to see how fast they could fly and perfect their skills. For these racers, dragon racing is more than just a sport, it's a way of life. They bring the same level of care and attention to their dragons as they do to their crops, and they have an intimate understanding of the intricacies of dragon behavior. As farmers work the land, they must be cautious of what lurks beneath it. Kobolds are relatively small, curious dragons that live deep in underground caverns and tunnels below the Kingdom of Prix. The species adapted to the total darkness and as a result are the only species of dragon that are naturally blind. But this has never stopped a kobold from getting into mischief. Unlike other dragons, most kobolds have hand-like claws and opposable thumbs that allow them to hold and interact with items the same way that riders can. Often the best friends and seeing-eye companions of kobolds are the subterranean goblins. Above everything else, goblin society is built on numbers and teamwork. It's rare to see a lone goblin, and when you do, there are sure to be about a dozen more nearby. Goblins consider themselves simple people who love hard work. They don't have the creative minds of gnomes, but with determination and teamwork, there is nothing a community of goblins can't do. All goblins have large ears that are almost as large, if not larger, than their heads. Each clan of goblins can be identified by their unique ear shape, and they can identify friends and family in complete darkness thanks to their amazing eyesight and hearing. The teamwork of goblins get tasks done quickly, but sometimes you have to slow down, be patient, and after all, slow and steady does often win the race. Fishermen spend their days patiently waiting for the perfect catch, as they have developed a unique set of skills that translate quite well to dragon racing. Fishermen are used to long hours of waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and this patience is invaluable when it comes to waiting for the right moment to make a move in dragon racing. They also have a keen eye for detail, being able to spot the slightest ripple in the water that indicates the presence of a fish, which translates well into spotting and avoiding obstacles during a race. Their experience with nature and unpredictable conditions makes them excellent at adapting to the constantly changing conditions of a dragon race. A life on the open seas sure generates some interesting and mystical stories, and there are no better stories than the ones about mermaids, selkies, and royal koi. One of the strangest dragons in all of Prix, and the only semi-aquatic species, royal koi appear to be a cross between a dragon and a koi fish. They can survive indefinitely in or out of water, but prefer coastal areas where they don't have to choose. It's difficult to say whether the dragons have wings that resemble fins or fins that resemble wings. They're not as fast as most other dragons, but they are clever, creative, and passionate, and can race in depths that no other dragon can. Not to be confused with mermaids, selkies are steady and peaceful, as gentle as the stream, while also having all the passion and power of the sea. Selkies are the only aquatic race of Prix, able to live both in and out of the water. Considered to be peaceful and gentle people, selkies do not often have the fire or the competitive nature of a professional dragon racer. Most selkies prefer to ride slow and steady so they may witness the beauty around them. What most fast-paced people do not see is the secret wisdom and watchfulness that the selkies possess. Selkies are not slow, rather they are steady and patient. A Selkie underdog is certainly a sight to behold. Few match the dignity and grace of a Selkie, unless, of course, they were raised royal. Members of the royal family and their close associates have say in many of the policies that govern dragon racing. Royal racers often have more influence over the rules and regulations than their lower-class counterparts. As a result of their privileged upbringing, racers from royal backgrounds often come across as entitled or arrogant to their competitors. They may underestimate the skill and experience of those who come from a less affluent background. Of course, being a royal racer also comes with its fair share of pressure and scrutiny. Each race is watched closely by the public, the media, and other racers, all eager to see whether the royal racer will live up to their high expectations. Who better to take on such pressure than a stone-cold gargoyle? Also called stone dragons, gargoyles can be nearly impossible to find, as they blend in almost perfectly within their natural environment. They say nothing phases a gargoyle. Their temperament is that of stone. They are fast and focused, never distracted, never angered, never afraid. Even holding a first-place trophy, their expression remains calm and uncaring, though they do have a secret artistic side. The lairs of stone dragons are populated with dozens of statues carved in the likeness of the dragon that resides there. And legend says a gargoyle will only smile for a single moment upon finishing one of their meticulous statues. Almost as elusive as the gargoyles are the sly hellborn. Most dragon riders race for fun, excitement, glory, and tickets. Hellborn riders race for status, power, and respect. The Hellborn have an ancient ancestral affinity for rules and fine prints. They say you should never make a deal or sign a contract with a Hellborn. But if you need a lawyer or clarification on one of the royal racing accords, the best person to go to may just be a Hellborn. Don't be fooled by outward appearances. Hellborn are not bad, and though they may stretch the rules, they're certainly not all cheaters. Not all racers come to the starting line with the same set of ethics. For those who come from a background of thievery and deceit, racing provides an opportunity to use their skills for more legitimate means. However, racers with this background also have to be careful not to get caught, both in the race and in their personal lives. Their reputation may precede them. As their name implies, cheaters are not above underhanded tactics to win races. They know the rules of the royal racing accords better than anyone and use that knowledge to break or evade them when necessary. On the lighter side of things, let's take a moment to talk about the whimsical fairy dragon. Fairy dragons are the smallest species of dragon. What they lack in strength, they make up for with incredible speed and infinite energy for fun and tricks. They say when racing was first invented, fairy dragons were the first to volunteer. Fairy dragons come in more colors than all the flowers in the kingdom, and were once prized companions for royalty to brighten up castle gardens. In modern-day fairy dragon communities, the smallest dragons with the brightest colors are worshipped and adored, while larger, less dazzling individuals typically find their love on the racetrack. Nothing lights up a garden like a fairy dragon, and nothing lights up the sky quite like a Valkyrie. The Valkyrie ride with a hot-tempered passion that sometimes frighten other racers. Nearly all Valkyrie become racers at some point in their lives. They have a deep passion for the thrill and danger of racing, just as their ancestors had a love for battle. They favor races with less rules and more danger, where they can unleash the full strength of their fury. Many people consider their golden hair and skin to be stunningly beautiful, while others may claim it's a bit much. Though their heavenly fire shines bright on the track, many Valkyrie have a very gentle healing touch when needed. Healers in the Kingdom of Prix are highly respected for their ability to mend the wounded and cure illnesses or even alleviate fear. They have a deep understanding of the workings of the body and mind and use this knowledge to help others in need. They are also excellent at keeping a cool head in emergencies and can quickly assess the situation to determine the best course of action. Unfortunately, one thing that can never quite be cured is the smell of a haggin. Slithering about in the deepest swamps, hag dragons, most commonly referred to as haggins, spend most of their days sleeping in bog water. This alone makes them an uncommon pick for most rookie riders. Haggins are considered to be stubborn, lazy, and rude. It can be tricky to convince a haggin to take up racing, but once they've been properly bribed, these dragons can be fierce competitors that surprise many opponents with not only their skill, but also their powerful smell, which they shamelessly use against anyone and everyone who gets in their way. Unlike Haggans, the hags of Prix swamps are not exactly what you'd expect. Whoever came up with the phrase, "looks can be deceiving," was clearly looking at a hag. These tall feminine people are known widely for their beauty, having deep rich skin tones of golden browns and emerald greens, and bright, luminous yellow eyes. Their black hair is kept thick and wild, decorated with trinkets and jewels. Despite their goddess-like appearance that many have compared to the beauty of a Valkyrie, hags are known for being difficult to get along with. They're quick to anger and often hold grudges for a lifetime. They're fiercely independent and prefer to keep to themselves. Despite their gruff demeanor, hags have a deep love and respect for nature and are excellent herbalists and healers. Being aggressively independent and lovers of nature, many are often quite wild. For those who come from a wild background, life in the city can be a bit overwhelming. Whether they were raised in the wilderness by wolves or lived with a pack of dragons, they are often more comfortable with the great outdoors than in the confines of a city. They have learned to survive in the most challenging environments and are always ready for the unexpected. These traits make them well suited for dragon racing, as the ability to think on one's feet and adapt to changing circumstances can make all the difference in a race. Wild riders may not have the same level of training or experience as other riders, but their instincts and intuition always give them an edge. As opposed to hags, some wild beings tend toward timid isolation. A rare sight, forest guardians tend to be shy and reclusive, hiding away in secluded forests and groves. Those who are bold enough to race have an unshakable confidence and fly with all the grace and power of the forest itself. Instead of scales and horns, forest guardians have long, beautiful fur and magnificent stag-like antlers. In most cases, their coloration serves as camouflage in the forest, though albino individuals are a common sight on the racetrack. Forest dragons can be hard to get to know, but once you gain your trust, you have a friend for life. Similarly, it's difficult to get to know a harpy. Even the close friends of a harpy insist that as soon as you think you know them, they do something new to keep you guessing. The only characteristics that you can always expect from a harpy is that they are very social, despite being incredibly awkward. Some say that harpies take on a full new personality every time they molt. Others claim they can be an entirely new person anytime the new moon rises. Even harpies know this to be at least partially true. Because they're quick-witted and easily bored, they live their lives trying as many new things as possible. What better way to fulfill that creativity and wanderlust, aside from racing that is, than by joining the mail delivery system of Prix. The mail system in the kingdom has undergone a major transformation since the arrival of dragons. Mail dragons and their riders can now work together to fly across the kingdom delivering letters and packages with incredible speed and accuracy. Racers who got their start in mail delivering are known for their impressive punctuality, as they understand the importance of delivering packages on time. They are focused, efficient, and have a deep understanding of the geography and layout of the kingdom. By day, businesses in Prix boom and roar, but by night, a much quieter kingdom can be discovered if you watch and listen closely. Nightwings are nocturnal dragons by nature, making them relatively uncommon but not unheard of for racing. These slim, sleek dragons have scales of black and deep blue, resembling the hues of the night sky. When flying at night, they're almost totally invisible, able to sneak up on anyone or anything. They say that Nightwings are the quietest dragons. Nightwings have large, vibrant eyes that could be any color. It is said that Nightwing's eyes can see directly into your soul, and through that eye contact alone, they can heal allies as well as break the will of even their fiercest rivals. Anyone except maybe the ogres. Ogres are the biggest, baddest dragon riders in the kingdom of Prix. Even short ogres can easily reach over 7 feet tall, and even ogres that are considered skinny have six-packs. Though they appear quite intimidating, everyone knows one simple truth about ogres. The bigger the ogre, the bigger their heart. And though they're not always the sharpest spoons in the closet, ogres have a great understanding of what's truly important in life. Who needs books and training when you can have great adventures and greater friends? And where better to forge friendships than in a literal forge? Forge smiths are the backbone of the kingdom's industry, providing weapons and armor to soldiers, adventurers, and dragons alike. Those who come from a forge smith background tend to be hardworking and diligent individuals. They're used to long hours spent at the forge and developed a keen eye for detail. They are patient, methodical, knowing that any mistake they make can have dire consequences in combat. Forge smiths are skilled with their hands and create powerful weapons and armor for themselves and their allies. And speaking of the fires of the forge, let's not forget the most fiery dragon of them all. Closely related to the wyvern, a phoenix is a dragon that resembles a large bird with feathers the colors of burning coals. Their coloration ranges, and throughout their life, their vibrant feathers shift hues from dark red when they're young, to orange during their prime years, and finally golden upon reaching old age. Remarkably, no one has ever witnessed the death of a phoenix. Riders tell tales of knowing a phoenix for their entire career, telling that the dragon will disappear for weeks after its feathers shine gold from old age, only for the same dragon to return much younger with bright red feathers. No one knows for sure how this happens, and many have their doubts about these stories. The only other species known to love and change their colors similarly to the phoenix are, strangely enough, trolls. Trolls come in two distinct varieties: the towering giants and the smaller, more nimble creatures. Despite their differences in size, both types of trolls share a deep respect for their natural surroundings and have a keen ability to blend into the environment around them. Trolls often decorate themselves and their dragon mounts with colorful flowers and foliage, making them a beautiful sight to behold as they thunder down the racing course. Some trolls even go as far as to cover themselves in dirt and moss to blend in with the surrounding landscape, giving them an extra edge over their opponents. With a flair for color and a naturally creative touch, many trolls were once performers before they became racers. Performers come in all shapes and sizes. From street musicians to famous actors and actresses, the stage is their home. For some, the thrill of the crowd and the chance to entertain is what drives them, while for others, it's the fame and fortune that come with the job. Performers who transition into dragon racing often bring with them a flair for the dramatic and a natural charisma that can work wonders with both the crowd and their dragons. They understand the importance of putting on a good show and captivating the audience. As the art and culture that drives performers is older than the kingdom itself, so too are the temple worms. Thought to be one of the oldest types of dragons, temple worms were guardians of ancient temples, tombs, and treasures. They have a passion for treasure and status, which is what attracted them to the racing culture of Prix. The riders of these dragons insist that temple worms cannot be trained. As one of the smartest species of dragon, temple worms are more likely to be the one to train their rider. Many temple worms have become racing legends thanks to their unmatched intelligence and agility. Their long serpent-like bodies and rainbow-feathered wings make them quite the spectacle as they fly across the finish line. Being one of the oldest species, temple worms have their fair share of secrets, but no species is more elusive and secretive as the moth bears. Silent and secretive, moth bear communities are difficult to find and even harder to befriend. As one of the only nocturnal rider species in the kingdom of Prix, moth bears are rare in the racing scene. Moth bears simply look like giant bipedal moths. They're covered in thick, coarse fur with the coloration and patterns that resemble different species of moths. They're generally tall compared to most other species, and their fur tends to make their scrawny limbs look significantly more muscular than they are. While some, like the moth bear, are silent and secretive, others ride loud and proud. Those who have served in Prix's military have been trained to handle combat in a variety of situations, whether it's on the battlefield of a far-off war or on the streets of their very own hometown. Riders and dragons with a militant background bring a level of combat expertise and discipline to the dragon racing circuit that few others can match. Military veterans often find the chaos and quick nature of a race are the perfect environment to put their training to use. They thrive on challenges and adapt to unexpected situations and outmaneuvering their opponents, relying on their instincts and quick reflexes to come out on top. And speaking of fierceness and ferocity, let's not forget about the hot-headed sand snakes. It was only recently that sand snakes were officially recognized as true dragons, and they continue to hold a bitter grudge about it. Sand snakes have no limbs and no wings. They very much resemble a monstrous snake with sharp spines and sharper teeth. Preferring to tunnel through the scorching desert sand, the fact that these dragons were capable of flight remained hidden for centuries. Very different from other dragons, sand snakes are considered to be nearly impossible to train, vicious, and mean. Few racers have the fire to earn a sand snake's respect, but those who do find themselves with an unstoppable force that won't let anyone get in its way of winning. We're coming up on the end of our list here. Last but not least, for the riders of Prix are the humans. They say that no two humans are alike. Very different from humans like you and me, humans of Prix are a mixed species that have traits and ancestries from all species. When two half-breeds fall in love, their children are considered to be human. Some humans may have the long, pointed ears of an elf or a magnificent dwarven beard. They may have a gnomish knack for invention and creativity or the muscles of an ogre. Some grow to have the wild hair of a troll or the feathered arms of a harpy. And on rare occasions, humans can even be born with the reptilian eyes of a dragon. If you can't decide on a rider species, human might be your best bet. Similarly, when stuck on two or more backgrounds, a jack of all trades might be for you. Some people find their calling early in life and stick with it, but others are drawn to a life of varied experiences and endless possibilities. Jacks of all trades are those who have dabbled in many different pursuits, acquiring a diverse set of skills and knowledge along the way. Despite the challenges they face, those with a jack of all trades background have a unique advantage in the world of dragon racing. Their diverse skill set allows them to adapt quickly to new situations and think outside the box when faced with unexpected obstacles. They may not have the same level of specialized knowledge as some of their competitors, but they make up for it with their flexibility and resourcefulness. Well, folks, we have done it. 13 dragons, 13 riders, and 13 backgrounds. If any of these lovely friend-shaped characters caught your attention, and you're interested in checking out Fantasy Prix, the Dragon Racing TTRPG, or any of my other games, just follow the link in the description to my itch.io page to download the free demo, or support me, Sylvie the Dragon, by buying of the full game so I have a reason to publish a fully illustrated hardcover book in the future. You can also join my Discord server, where nerds like you can chat about my games, your games, and pretty much anything really. Link also in the description. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when I post the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.